Hey, good morning. Happy Monday morning. Back at it with another, call it a mindset Monday, call it motivation Monday, although I don't like motivation as a word. But we're here for another Monday morning. And today I want to talk to you um, about something that goes a little bit against the grain, quite honestly. You know, when you start any business, when you um, delve into anything, really, when you work with a coach, when you work with, um, start a new business, a mentor, so often they ask you, what's your why? Identify your why. And, we do it, and sometimes it feels a little bit challenging. We maybe sometimes have a difficult time coming up with the reasons, right? But I like to turn that around and I don't ask people why, I ask them what. And I want to pose this to you today. Asking yourself, what's the purpose of this? What's the purpose of me taking this action? What's the purpose of me building this business? What's the purpose of me switching stores? What's the purpose of me working on my money? What's the purpose of me working out, right? Asking yourself really what the purpose is brings it to a level that I believe hits a little bit deeper than the why. And why tends to, have you ever noticed, like, when somebody asks you, like, well, why are you doing that, it feels kind of condescending, it feels judgmental, right? And we internalize that a lot. And so when somebody says, hey, what's your why, sometimes I think it brings with it a lot of negativity. And so when you ask yourself, what's the purpose of me doing this, it comes from a place of curiosity. It comes from a place of like self discovery. It comes from a place of really getting down to, is this really what I want to do or not? I truly believe that it hits differently when we ask ourselves, what's the purpose for me here? What's the purpose of me taking this action, right? And give yourself time to really think about it. So you can ask yourself and then step away from it for a while, see what comes up. You can ask yourself and then journal. You can ask yourself and record it. Um, Documentation is an important piece of this as well, but really getting down to asking yourself, like, what's the purpose here? And I think it brings us into this truly a place of abundance. I think it brings us into this place of um, truly authentic action. I think it brings us to this place of um, truly wanting to help people, not just ourselves. You will hear me say, if you follow me, if you listen to anything I talk about, I am very upfront and passionate about self care and taking care of ourselves, and that a lot of actions that we take shouldn't be considered selfish. They should be really considered um, essential, right? But I think when you are, and let's just talk about building business for a second. When you're building business, um, oftentimes it comes across as we don't want to be salesy, or what if people don't like this product or don't like this system or don't, right? We um, start going over some of the objections in our head, uh, you know, and so it's, we have to just be cautious, right, of how we perceive some of these things. But when you start really looking at what's the purpose of this, I think we're able to move through some of those other, through the objections, through the fears a little bit easier because it's deep seated. I think we all want a purpose, right? And I think so many times we're looking for that purpose. And so when we get to ask ourselves, what is the purpose with this new action? What is the purpose of this new direction that I'm wanting to go? It brings it in. And then you can ask yourself why. Why does this matter? Right? But don't have your why be the first part. Have it come later. Ask yourself, what's the purpose here? Um, and I would love to have you share in the comments. You could use, hashtag replay. Let me know that you watched it. And let me know, like, what your purpose is here. What's the purpose of you in this community? What's the purpose of you taking these actions? I would love, love, love to know what comes up for you. And I think by you sharing, it helps encourage other people as well. I love hearing what other people's purpose is, because then it allows me to be able to guide you a little bit better, right? And more effectively. So, this morning, on this Monday morning, towards the end of June, I would really love to have you ask yourself, what's the purpose of this action? What's the purpose of me, here in this community? What is the purpose of me starting this business? Whatever it is, this applies to every area of life. And leave the why. What's my why? Leave that for later on. All right. Let's really look at what's the purpose here. So, comment below. Would love to know what comes up for you. As always, thank you for being a valued member of the community. I appreciate you. We all appreciate you. Hope you have a beautiful week, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.